Hello everyone and welcome to Monster Hunter Rise. This is Samutari, and this is a game that I've actually played before. I've actually beaten Rise and Sunbreak on the Switch. This is my first time playing it on my PC, and kind of just doing it just because I do love this game. I love this game, I love Monster Hunter just in general, and I felt like this is going to be something super fun, and I plan on streaming some of it with my friends. I'm going to try and leave as much of this unedited as possible, but at the same time, there's some things I don't feel like you really need to see, such as my character creator or anything like that. So without further ado, much as I want to listen to this beautiful song, let's just get into it, guys.
Dear, looks like we've been caught in the act, Minoto.
Quite disappointing, Hinoa.
I really don't see how anyone could have noticed us.
It was a perfect display of stealth.
That's why we expect great things of you. You're always razor sharp.
Well then, I guess we still have a lot of training left to do.
What? You don't want us sneaking in? Oh, come on! This is Kimura! We're all practically family here.
Besides, Elder Fugen is looking for you.
So go get ready. Can't keep him waiting. Shall we go?
Thank you, come again!
Oh!
Elder Fugen, we did like you asked.
Oh, Hinoa, Minoto, thank you. I just got an important letter. It looks like we've got a rampage on our hands.
So it's finally beginning.
It's been 50 years since the last calamity. But I remember like it was yesterday.
A huge pack of monsters in a giant stampede. They attack the village in a frenzied rage. Nobody knows why this happens, but it came close to wiping out our village last time.
I think it's time we paid a visit to the stronghold. We have to protect the village.
There's nothing to worry about, Elder Fugen. All of us, everyone in Kimura, We've all been training for this moment for our entire lives.
Inoa, we should start preparations right away.
Now that's what I like to hear.
Alright, so we are finally back in it. Now, Samutari, the rampage all aside, I've got some news for you. I got a message from the guild this morning, says that you are now a certified hunter. You're really living now, Squirt. Well, I guess I shouldn't call you that now that you're certified, but I don't think it'll stop me. Sorry to interrupt, blah 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 blah. I've informed the village of the coming rampage, just like you asked. So this is basically, at this point, this is going to be our tutorial, so unfortunately, like, we do have to go through all this stuff. There are a ton of menus in this game, and that's one of the things that I kind of remembered the more that I was, like, thinking about it, as I was like, oh man, I'm going to have to go through all those menus. And because I've been playing an older Monster Hunter game, all my muscle memory's kind of gone, and I've never played the game, like I said, I've never played it on my PC, but I've also never played it with an Xbox controller, so that's kind of odd to me, because I did play it on the Switch. So it feels pretty nice, just kind of running around and stuff. It feels a little bit heavier than I remember, but again, like I said, it's just because my muscle memory's gone. So basically, we're being shown, like, just the various utilities that we're going to be using in the game. Kaguro here, the merchant, he is going to be selling us, like, potions, traps. The majority of the things that you're going to need in this game are things that you can actually make yourself. So it's really not, you know, terrible to use the merchant, but at the same time, if you can gather the items and, you know, make them for free, then you should just probably craft them yourself. The recipes for items are already in a crafting list, and they're very, very simple. The smith here, if you've never played a Monster Hunter game, the smith is one of the most important aspects of it. So essentially what we're going to be doing is we're going to be hunting down these massive monsters. And once we do, we are going to carve them for parts. And gruesome as it sounds, it actually has a purpose. The parts that we gather from monsters will be used to make our armor and our weapons. Now, different monsters have different abilities, so sometimes the items that we'll be making will have, like, elemental attributes. So if we fight, like, a Puke, for example, and you're gonna hear me butcher all sorts of monster names, but if we fight the Puke, that is a poison type, so the weapons that we would create using items from that monster would be poison type, and it would be good against, obviously, monsters that have a weakness to poison. So you can kind of apply, heck, I can't even say you can apply Pokemon logic, because sometimes monsters will throw a curveball in there, and they'll be weak to things you wouldn't think they're weak at. Now, the next place that we're going is going to be the place with Bunny Dongo. So the thing with the food, food is another big thing with Monster Hunter. You always want to eat before a hunt, and the dongo that you can make, which in other Monster Hunter games, it's usually different food. It's like fondues or steaks or something else. But in this game, it's dongo. The dongo that you can create will actually assist you in your hunts, because the dongo will have various effects. So you can get a piece of dongo that will increase your health, or, like, increase the effectiveness of healing items. You can get one that'll increase, like, how much money you earn. You'll increase one that can, like, up the power of, like, certain weapons. And what you want to do is you want to layer these dongo for your specific style of, like, gameplay. Me, I kind of just keep it simple, and I'm really boring. I just go for medic, defense, and usually something that keeps me from getting, like, knocked over so much, because getting knocked over is a real pain. And like I said, every time you eat, there's, like, a small chance that these effects will be added in a higher degree than normal. So a lot of it does kind of come down to RNG. But you always want to eat before a hunt because it'll increase your health and it'll also increase your stamina, because otherwise your health and stamina are just so low, it's like playing on hard mode for no reason. Oh, it's this guy. Oh, he cracks me up.
Oh. Pardon me. This is Master Hojo?
So this is the guild hall. This is the place that's going to be where all your online stuff takes place. So Monster Hunter Rise, I didn't know this because Rise was my first Monster Hunter game, but there's essentially two storylines. There is the main story, like solo play story, and then there is a whole other story that happens with multiplayer. And the thing is I guess I just really didn't understand it at first, and it was really frustrating because I thought to myself, like, man, the story is so short when I first played it. You know, I got to the end, I beat the quote-unquote what I thought was the final boss, and I thought to myself, man, this was really short. And then I started playing with my friend Roto, and he was like, dude, you're not even done. Like, you've got nothing. You've got 0, like, hunter rank. Like, you haven't even started. And I really wasn't sure. And then, sure enough, I started the multiplayer aspect, which, you know, is where the story really, really picks up. And I was like, oh, okay. And it made me feel a lot better about the story because I was very disappointed just playing it solo play. So multiplayer is going to be a really big factor in this. You know, I do plan on playing with other people. Maybe not, maybe, I mean, I want to play with other people. Playing with randoms is kind of tricky. But yeah, so we'll see how that goes. But obviously, we are going to cover the whole story. I mean, I want to, because I really do like this game. And I do plan on just kind of goofing off and playing with a friend. So we'll see how that goes. Just keep an eye on the icons, I guess, to see if I'm playing with anybody per that episode. But anyways, there are a lot of other aspects to Rise. There's a lot of different type of missions. So this guy is basically our mentor. He's kind of like the other tutorial guide. He kind of teaches us the basics of how to use our skills, how to use like certain perks and stuff. He's teaching us kind of like this little mini menu. He calls it the action bar. In the action bar, you can essentially summon your Kahoot, you can take pictures, you can do a few other things. There's a lot of like the multiplayer aspects, like the gestures and stuff. There's a lot of like multiplayer things. It's kind of like a little mini menu, and it gives you like some options. So, but this guy will basically teach you all of that, and he's gonna bug us for a while, just because we are in the quote-unquote tutorial stage, despite the fact that I've played this before. And maybe there's a way to turn it off, but I haven't figured it out yet. But anyways, we are going to pick up our first quest here soon. And obviously they don't really start you out on anything super serious. They start you out on like a training quest. And again, it's just small stuff. So she's explaining our Kahoot. The Kahoot is a little owl that we can use. They are the preferred pet of Komura Village, and Kahoots will kind of be important in their own special way. Your Kahoot can pick up items for you, just randomly. There is a spot where you can like raid their nest, and they'll give you like little items like steel eggs, gold eggs, you know, things that you can sell for money. You can also customize your Kahoot, but your Kahoot has, like, no real use in battle or during missions. It's kind of just one of those, like, extra hub things that you can do, and it's really cute. I mean, I like having a Kahoot. There's one in the DLC that you can, like, pet and stuff as well, and it's really cute, and there's, like, some little mini challenges. But there are different types of quests, so she's kind of going over those. We obviously have the village quests, which are the story progression quests. Each time we finish all of those, we'll get like urgent quests that we have to take on. Quests can vary from gathering stuff, unique items, which are really annoying because they're all RNG based. They can vary from gathering items to killing certain monsters. Sometimes they are small monsters, sometimes they are big monsters, sometimes it's a combination of the two, sometimes it's multiple monsters. And obviously, like, the lower rank we are, then the less difficult the quests are going to be. And then this guy right here, this cat, he is essentially the master of the multiplayer functions. He's all about the online stuff, so anytime you want to go online, you have to talk to this guy, and then you have to, like, set up your HUD, not your HUD, your hub, if you want to play with other players. I tend to create a passcode, stuff like that, so, but yeah. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and go into the dojo area. This is for the buddies. It's called the Buddy Plaza. Essentially, you can hire canines and palicos here. And the reason why this place is important is because of the Meowcenaries and the trading post. These are like they're not even little mini games, but they are just like little mini things that you can do again to get extra items. So the reason why I'm going here is, one, to get the cutscene out of the way, but two, I'm probably just going to buy some buddies. I'm just going to go ahead and start collecting them, because you're going to need, like, 3 buddies for trading, you're going to need 3 buddies for the Meowcenaries, so we're going to need 6 extra buddies, outside of the ones that we are already using. But yeah, so this is kind of just explaining the different functions here. But these won't be super important, at least, like, I don't plan on showing these too much, because I'm pretty sure that you guys are here for the monsters. But yeah, so this is just kind of going into that function. I'm going to take a moment, though, as soon as I get the chance. I am going to go to the training arena, just to kind of get a feel for what the controls are for the longsword here. And then, yeah, once I do that, then I will be back. I'm going to hire a couple buddies, and you do pay Zenny for these. They're not super expensive. They're pretty cheap, all things considered, but we have 1,000 Zenny to spend, so I'm just going to buy a couple buddies. I'm going to head to the training arena, and then I will be right back. Alright, and we are back. Honestly, the controls aren't really that different from what I remember. Well, I mean, like, muscle memory-wise. I'm still not sure how to do a few things, because, again, my muscle memory is really messed up due to playing Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate on the Switch, and then having played Rise on the Switch before this. So it's probably going to take me a minute of playing this again just to kind of remember. Every time I play Rise on the Switch anyways, I have to go to the training arena. So it says that we have to go through the gate to begin the quest, but honestly, Rise has a feature where I can just press right trigger and go. So I'm just going to go. But, and we have to do this training tutorial where where the guy's going to kind of walk us through everything. So we're just going to depart, not even going to eat, we're just going to go.
These halls of worship, once so bustling, now home to monsters, stalking and rustling. Hunters beware, not weights, but despair.
So, my history with Monster Hunter is actually, I almost said, it's actually really interesting. It's really not. The first time I ever heard about Monster Hunter was actually when I was playing, well, I wasn't playing anything. There was this kid on the bus. I knew him, like, basically my whole childhood. We kind of grew up together or whatever. And he always had, like, the coolest stuff. And one day we were on the bus and I saw him playing his PSP, which, mind you, I thought the PSP was, like, one of the coolest things, but I never owned one myself, like, not until I was already an adult. So anyways, he had his PSP and he was just complaining. He was like, oh, the monster ran away and blah, 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 blah. And I just remember asking him, like, hey, what are you playing? and he told me that he was playing Monster Hunter, and he tried to explain it to me, but honestly, like, the way he explained it was just that it was super duper punishing. He was like, oh yeah, if I don't catch the monster in so much time, then I fail the mission, but also, like, I can only die so many times, and the monsters are really strong, and honestly, like, back then, I kind of consider my gaming, to be into, like, I kind of cut it into two sections. There's the era of me being really gamer dumb, where I loved playing games, but for some odd reason I just couldn't, like, understand them. So, like, when I did beat a game, it was, like, a huge deal, and half the time I beat it by accident, because I just usually had, like, no idea what I was doing. So, like, this was the era of me being, like, game dumb, and then, like, it was almost as if one day, whatever divine entities are out there said, you know, we have to give this girl at least one brain wrinkle, you know, we have to give her one good wrinkle in that smooth brain of hers, and, you know, and then suddenly I was just good at games. I'm not gonna say, like, I'm an expert, obviously, I'm not one of those try-hard people, but I suddenly was able to fully comprehend and fully, like, understand the games that I was playing. I actually, like, cared enough to pay attention to what I was actually doing, and then I was like, aha, so this is how you do the thing. So back when I heard about Monster Hunter via my school friend, I literally, like, looked at that sort of game and just said, yeah, nah, like, that's not for me. Because back then I was still playing, like, Spyro the Dragon, I was still playing freaking Pokemon, you know, I was playing games that really just didn't take a lot of, like, thought, you know. I think the most complex thing that I was playing back then was God of War, which, for the most part, you know, the original one was like a hack and slash. So I ended up beating that one. I think the hardest part was getting Pandora's Box, but even that, I just kind of, like, brute forced my way through it, you know. And outside of that, I guess the most advanced thing I played was classic Guild Wars, but even then I barely understood that. So, I don't know, in my head I just kind of thought about what Monster Hunter was, and I said, oh, no. Like, that is way too punishing for me. Like, that is not a game that I think that I would enjoy. So I kind of just, you know, forgot about it, because it was very daunting to me. It was very scary to me, and kind of intimidating, you know? And I guess, like, I would watch, like, YouTubers play Monster Hunter, even though it's kind of, like, taboo to speak of this YouTuber. I was, unfortunately, one of those people that, used to watch a lot of, Cryotic, and I think I watched Cry all the time, and I didn't really catch his streams, but occasionally I would just catch, like, snippets of the streams, you know, the things that they would clip. And I remember seeing him playing Monster Hunter. I believe they were playing Monster Hunter, was it World? Oh my gosh. I don't know if it was Monster Hunter World or if it was Monster Hunter Ultimate. I don't know. All I know is that they were playing Monster Hunter, and I just remember, I think he played with JonTron once too. I have no freaking idea. All I know is that at one point, you know, I was watching him play, and again, I was watching this game, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, that is punishing. Like, that is insanely punishing. And so I was just like, yeah, this is not the game for me. Like, this is not the type of game that I think I would want to play. But I had fun watching it. I thought it was really entertaining. But again, I just kind of went, nah, I would get too mad at that game, you know? It wasn't something for me. It wasn't something I think I would enjoy. And sorry for my voice. I'm actually still sick. I'm kind of getting over an upper respiratory thing, so if I'm kind of monotone, more monotone than usual, it's because I'm still sick. Still trying to get over it. But yeah, so, like, fast forward, and a lot of my friends play Monster Hunter, and again, I was just like, no, it's not really the game for me. I'm not really interested. And then my friend Roto, he offered to buy me Monster Hunter Rise. It had just come out, and I told him, I told him, I was like, I have never played a Monster Hunter game. I had gotten one on my jailbroke, like, PSP, but the thing is all the menus were still in Japanese, and I never figured out how to navigate that game. I never figured out how to get to, the first mission, let alone anything else, like, let alone actually playing it. And I told him this, and I was like, dude, I don't even know if I'll like it. And he was like, no, you'll love it. He's like, Monster Hunter is a great series, it's a great game, like, you'll have fun. And we'll play together. And again, I was kind unconvinced, but he was like, if I buy you the game, I know you'll play it, because I'm really the type where I don't accept gifts very well, and I kind of feel like obligated, you know? I'm like, okay, listen, if you are going to buy me this game, then yeah, I would have to play it just to give it a go, and just to say, hey, you know, I bought it. Obviously, I don't want it to be a wasted investment for my friend. So he was like, yeah, so I'm buying you the game. And at the time I was like, you know what, screw it, you know, like, if I'm gonna try the game, then now's gonna be the time, you know? So yeah, he bought me Rise, and we started playing together, and it was about as intimidating and daunting as I thought it was gonna be. Obviously not being able to turn while attacking, and just having to learn monster mechanics and stuff in order to avoid damage, like, you know, definitely wasn't something that I'm used to. I don't play Souls-like games, I don't play, like, really combative sort of games. I'm more of, like, an RPG platformer sort of person. So this required a lot more, like, strategy and stuff than what I was used to. But honestly, like, I don't know, I ended up really liking it. I liked the story, I liked the monsters, I liked the challenge. So yeah, like, it was a lot of fun. So at this point, we finished the training quest, so now all the regular quests are gonna open up to us. The problem is they're still gonna want us to talk to, like, a whole bunch of people. I'm kind of just gonna circumvent that, and I'm just gonna go ahead and do a couple missions. I want us to get a couple of these in, because, you know, I want these videos to kind of be longer, since, I think per hunt we get 50 minutes, and sometimes we are going to need a good, like, 20-30 minutes per hunt. You know, it just really depends, like, if I'm just playing by myself, or what I'm hunting, or whatever. So you're gonna get to see me totally embarrass myself. Again, I have already beaten this game. I've beaten it on my Switch. I have also beaten the Sunbreak DLC, so I wish I could give you just, like, an authentic thing. I don't want to do all the training quests. But yeah, I wish I could give you, like, an authentic, like, hey, you know, I've done that, or this is my actual reaction, but unfortunately, you know, I already know what's coming. So we could do some unique hunting items. I know where all the mushrooms are, but those are annoying. So I think what we're gonna do is, I know where the Izuchi are. Dude, we're just gonna go after some little monsters. That seems to be the best strategy right now. I want to carve up some beasts. I want to kind of start getting those parts. And it'll give me a chance to gather and stuff. Crafting in this game is not, like, interactive by any means, but at the same time, like, I like that it's an option. I like, oh yeah, I have to sit down to eat. I forgot. Okay. Yeah, I have to sit down to eat. I'm so used to eating in the guild hall. I just don't think, like, I'll ever get tired of watching that animation. I don't know. I tend to almost watch it every single time. And I guess I was kind of upset that freaking, is it Sunbreak? Yeah, like, the DLC, I was kind of upset that it honestly didn't have, as cute of an animation. It's still cute, like, don't get me wrong, but... Alright, so we are going to be gathering some stuff. Like, you're just going to have to suffer with the fact that I am the type that I want to pick up everything. My inventory on my main account, like on my Switch, is just so bloated with stuff. Because here's the thing, I don't use the blowgun, I don't use the freaking bow, I don't use anything that requires ammo, but I'll be damned if I don't have, like, all the materials to make all the ammo that I could ever need. One thing that I wish that they would implement in this game is I really wish that they would implement just a trading system, I guess. Because here's the thing, like, I know that that could kind of be, like, overpowered in a sense, because then you could have people who have friends that could just load them up with everything that they could ever need or want. But at the same time, like, so what? Like, let them do it, you know? So, like, Roto, he'll use, like, blowguns, bows. He'll try different weapons every now and again. And he'll, you know, he'll need ammo, because he'll be running low, because he uses, you know, so much during his hunts and whatever. And if I could just trade him materials, I mean, I would, you know? But unfortunately, we just can't do that. It's kind of the same thing with Monster Hunter now. So, that's really what got me on this Monster Hunter kick, which is really funny. So, for those that may not know, I am on the spectrum to a certain degree, obviously super high functioning, but at the same time, I do have some nice little quirks, and one of those quirks is that I really cannot control, you know, when I hyperfixate on something. It just depends on what decides to give me the good brain tingles, and then I obsess over it. You know, when I was a child, I obsessed over Spyro the Dragon to the point where I felt like I had to win a single Spyro plushie at the fair because I didn't own the game, but I needed the plushie so that I could reenact what I thought the game would be like in my head, because Spyro was all I could think about. And I would, like, draw him on my papers, and I would, like, build Legos of, like, what I thought the levels would be like, and anything Spyro. If I would have to cut, you know, Spyro pictures out of magazines, like, I don't know, I was just obsessed. And then I finally got the game, like, years later. I still love it, it's fantastic. But at the time, that's what I was hyper-fixating on. And Nier, like, obviously for those that have seen my Nier reincarnation stuff, I religiously played that app every day for 2 years. And it is because Nier the Draconeer universe was a hyperfixation of mine. And I just literally could not stop thinking about it, you know, theorizing on it, playing the app. It kind of became part of my routine. So when it shut down, like, it was really hard for me because I don't do well with change. So here recently, I haven't really been playing too many mobile apps. It's not really my thing. Mobile gaming has never been my cup of tea, I guess. Now, occasionally I'll find an app I really, really like My Singing Monsters, or Pokemon Go is kind of in there, or, like, Mario Kart Tour. Like, Mario Kart Tour was one of, like, my main things for a while, and that was one of the things that I was obsessed with. So, my job had me going on a detail where I was basically going to be sitting around for 12 hours, and I was going to be bored as hell. And I kind of just remembered that they had come out with a Monster Hunter app. And the thing is I totally forgot about it. Like, I remember seeing the ad for it. I remember seeing, like, the trailer, and I was so hyped, and I remember contacting my friend Roto, and I was like, holy shit, like, they are going to make a Monster Hunter app. It's going to be like Pokemon Go. And I remember him saying to me, like, how is that going to work? And the thing is I had no answer, obviously. I was like, I was like, dude, I don't know. I have no idea, you know? And so we kind of bounced ideas, like, back and forth, like, how they could implement it and what it was going to be like, and whether or not it was going to require other people, and how faithful it was going to be to Monster Hunter. You know, the typical theorizing that you would do with anything, if it was brand new and if it was kind of weird, you know? And, yeah, and then I remember I signed up to download the app early, because you could download it, like, you know, early to a certain extent. You just couldn't play it, but you could already have an account set up, and you could already have it, like, there, so that when the launch day happened, you could play at launch. And I had every intention to play at launch, but for some odd reason I just didn't. And I don't know why. I kind of just forgot when launch was. It was probably just a matter of people weren't talking about it. So, like, I never saw it on the Reddit. And then they announced Monster Hunter Wilds, which is going to be the new game. I don't know when it comes out. I don't know if it comes out this year or next year, but I just remember thinking to myself, you know, like, oh, Wilds is so cool. And then, you know, the idea of the app, or just the app in general, just kind of like, it kind of just left my brain. And, you know, but like I said, it's because the only thing anybody wanted to talk about was Wilds. They wanted to talk about the new creatures, the new mechanics, the new graphics, you know, they wanted to talk about what platform it was going to be on, if it was going to be crossplay, you know, the important things. And so this, you know, Monster Hunter but Pokemon Go or whatever, you know, that really, I guess, just didn't interest me enough to remember. So I was going on this detail, and I was kind of looking through my mobile games, and I tried the Iseki Slow Life or whatever. It's boring. I had, like, Idle Morgue, you know, and that was boring. I had a couple other things. I had, like, some SpongeBob games. I couldn't play anything that would keep me too occupied, because I did have to pay attention to some things. So obviously I couldn't play something that would require a lot of concentration, like Geometry Dash or anything like that. So that was a bit of an annoyance. So I was kind of, like, looking through my old games folder, and I saw this, like, strange icon. And when I looked at the strange icon, I kind of, like, you know, I had to squint a little bit, and then it was like Monster Hunter Now, and I was like, oh crap. You know, they did actually try to, like, make a Monster Hunter app, and I had totally forgotten about it. So I really wasn't sure what was, you know, going through my head back then, where I was like, oh, I'm just going to shove this in a folder where I can't see it, you know. But yeah, so I was on this detail, and I'm like, well, you know, I might as well try it out, you know, see what it's like. And so that's what I did. I booted it up. And for those that follow my blog, maybe you don't know I have one, but it's linked to my YouTube channel. I do have a blog where I do game reviews, that sort of thing. I also have a blog strictly focused on Nier, if you're part of my Nier audience, but I haven't updated it in a while, obviously, because there hasn't really been, I haven't really had the time to sink my teeth into some of the other content that I want to cover on there, as part of the Draconeer universe. But for those that do follow my gaming blog, I recently did a review of Monster Hunter Now, and honestly, it's not bad. For what they ended up doing, I guess, like, the best way to describe it is that it is like Pokemon Go, in the sense that obviously everything's within a certain radius, and you have to, like, walk around your neighborhood in order to find special events and massive monster encounters. But other than that, like, I mean, it's pretty faithful to Monster Hunter. Obviously the combat is not going to be as in-depth as Monster Hunter, like normal AAA Monster Hunter games. You know, you tap to attack, but you can also slide to dash away from attacks. The monsters will glow when they're about to do a special attack, which gives you time to move. But honestly, it's still kind of challenging, because different weapons have different weights, different movements, different armor pieces give you different types of skills that you can use. So it's actually super faithful to Monster Hunter. You still carve up the monsters in a way, in order to gain different monster pieces, and that's still used to craft armor and weapons. So, and there's a ton of different special events. There's a pretty decent roster of monsters as well. So I was honestly really impressed with the app. I was impressed with what it was able to do. It just kind of sucks that I live in such a small area. So unfortunately, I really just don't get a lot of activity. So while I was on this detail, I was actually in a city that was like an hour away from where I normally live. And so I was able to run into a whole bunch of stuff. I ran into an elder dragon. I did like several hunt-a-thons, and there was just so many people around that I could hunt with. So it was really, really fun to see that and to have that. And then I went home, and honestly, there's barely anything. I mean, occasionally I'll find something pretty neat, maybe a 4-star or 5-star or something like that. But I don't really go walking around my neighborhood a lot, mostly just due to my job and the fact that I don't have time. And because I'm a night shift worker, it's not as simple as, oh, just go for a walk once you get home, you know? It's not one of those things, so, but yeah, so, I mean, it's not a bad app. So it's really not a bad app. And it's pretty fun. It kind of scratched the itch that I'd been having for a while with finding a something simple to keep my mind occupied. But when I started playing the app, that's where I started having issues because I wanted to play Monster Hunter. And so when I was playing this app, I kept thinking, oh man, I kind of miss Monster Hunter. Because the thing is, you know, Roto and I, we played all through Rise, we played all through the DLC, we did so many of the DLC events, and then after a while, it just kind of becomes repetitive. And I think that's the biggest issue that I have with Monster Hunter, is that it just kind of becomes repetitive after a while. Because it really is just go on quest, kill monster, carve monster, rinse and repeat until you have enough materials to make thing. Or it's go on quest, hunt monster, go on harder quest, hunt harder monster, rinse and repeat until your hunter rank is high enough to fight dragon. And while for some people this could be fun, it is really fun for a while, but I guess after a while I just kind of get bored of the routine, and then I'm kind of looking for more, because the thing is like I'm the type that kind of needs something to keep me engaged, which means I want a story to kind of like drive me. But after a while there's really no story anymore because you finished it. So while there was the story kind of driving those sort of quests, and there was still new monsters to discover and that sort of thing, that's where the game was the most interesting to me. And then I started to fall off. I forget what Monster Hunter rank I am. I wouldn't say I'm like super duper high. I'm almost to 100 maybe? I don't know. I know that there's like an ultimate like monster once you reach 100. It's just getting to that rank that is kind of just annoying to me. But also, the story just kind of slips off after that. It's like you've beaten everything at this point, and then every once in a while they'll throw a new dragon your way, which we'll kind of go over that. Elder dragons are kind of like the ultimate bosses of this game. They are the hardest monsters. They have the most abilities. They are very tricky. They are very powerful. They're overpowered. And sometimes their gimmicks are just, I don't know, their gimmicks are just insane. Anyways, we're just gonna go after this last quest, and then I'm gonna make a well done steak, but I kind of forget how to do it. I know I have to put down the barbecue spit. I know I have to cook the meat, but I kind of forget what button I'm supposed to press in order to not or to stop it. So I'm just gonna play with buttons. So I will burn probably at least one piece of these, because you have to time it perfectly with the music. Okay, I don't think that was it, obviously, with the buttons. So we're going to try something else. But Elder Dragons are pretty much the ultimate force in this game. So you really want to like take care to know what you're doing when you face them. So it's like every so many ranks, they're like, oh, there's this new Elder Dragon you can fight. Ah, yes. Aha, well done, Steak. I did it. Alright, now we're gonna go fight some Jagras. But yeah, so it's like, I kind of just got tired of the routine of, okay, build up so many ranks, fight Elder Dragon, build up so many ranks, fight Elder Dragon. And after a while, even the Elder Dragons weren't enough to, like, keep me interested, I guess. But yeah, like, that's why I'll probably only play this game, I mean, I don't know how long I'll play it. I know I'll play it long enough for the story, but then after that, I don't know. I think it'll just be up to my friends whenever I stream it with them, or whatever, or when we're just playing it together. Because honestly, I think her and I playing together is going to be really funny. Me and my friend Red have been talking about playing games together for a while. She's someone that I've known for quite some time, since I was in Germany. I think us playing Monster Hunter together would be really freaking hilarious. Just because I've played it for longer than she has, and when she was telling me how hard it was for her to get into Rise, I said, well, didn't you play the tutorial? And then she said, what tutorial? So I already think it's gonna be really funny to see how that goes between us. But yeah, and I guess Rise, like, got a lot of hate for not being as, like, graphically superior to World. But honestly, I find the style of this game to be super charming. I find a lot of this game to be super charming, especially the music. I love the music, I love the maps. I love finding the hidden stuff. They've got some hidden swords, and I found them all on my old file on the Switch. I keep saying my old file as if I don't play still on the Switch. I do still play on the Switch. So my friend Roto does not have a PC. This game is not crossplay. So I still play with him on the Switch on my original file with my original hunter with all my awesome gear. This one right here on PC is specifically I made so that I could play with my friend Red. I'm going to be playing with her this weekend, actually. We're going to stream our first few hunts, which is why I'm kind of just trying to get the tutorial and basics out of the way so that I can hop straight into the multiplayer and I don't have a million menus popping up. But yeah, so this is so that I can play with her, and so yeah, so it's not like I've given up on my other files, so, but I don't know what to call it. It's like, it's not my old file, quote unquote, but I guess I'm just gonna call it my original file or something, just because it is on another console. Or I'm just gonna say my Switch file? No, that sounds weird. I don't know what to call it. My original file, my OG file, you know, on the Switch. But yeah, so it's gonna be something. I don't have half my gear. Honestly, on the Switch, the main weapon that I use is the longsword that you get from defeating Rajang, and I love that thing. I love that thing to death. There's another one too. I think I made a blade out of one of the Elder Dragons in specific, because the stats of it were just really amazing. But I forget which one it was, and I'd have to go back and look. But yeah, so don't get me wrong if I say the game gets repetitive and boring. Like, I mean, I felt like it did, but I really did like it. I really did enjoy myself. And honestly, for all the flack that Rise got, I'm kind of glad it was my first Monster Hunter game, because it means that when I play the older Monster Hunter games, I'm just like, oh man, I appreciate the fluidity and the upgrade that is Rise. And then when I play ones that are obviously, like, graphically better, like World, then I can say, okay, like, Rise is charming, and I can see where people prefer, like, World, but also I just really like Rise for what it offers, and the fact that we even were able to have anything there on the Switch. So, yeah, like, I really like it. I really like it. I have no real complaints about it whatsoever. So, I just think it's a really fun game. It's really fun. It's really charming. It's, like I said, I love the music. I actually really like the story. The only thing I don't like about this game, other than the repetitiveness, is I don't like the rampage quests. And unfortunately, you will probably feel my pain as I try to actually do the rampage quests. But yeah. Alright, so we are done with this mission. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to town. I'm going to give Elder Fugin his well-done steak. He'll tell me to pick up some other quests. And I'm really going to probably do that behind the scenes. I'm going to pick up some quests, and we'll just kind of do them whenever we do them, you know? I really want to keep it casual. Like I said, this is going to be, we're going to have a mixture of things with me playing with my friend and me playing just this series by myself. Right now it's really easy, but it's about to get a lot harder once we start facing those big old monsters, and I'm going to cry a lot. I'm going to get frustrated a lot, so I hope you look forward to that. But anyways, if you like this series, please feel free to leave a like and leave me a comment. Let me know your favorite monster. Let me know your favorite build. I mean, heck, if you want to play on PC sometime, I'd be down to play with some people. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I look forward to this series. I hope you do too. And so I will see you all in the next one. All right. Ciao, you guys.